Plant some trees. Today we are planting hostas around my gnome garden. Yes, I have a gnome garden. I also have a fairy garden too. Why, you ask? Well, I have a gnome garden because I have 15 grandchildren, and I think when my grandchildren come to visit Abuela, there should be a certain amount of magic when they get here. And nothing brings magic like little gnomes or little fairies in the garden. We got Mondo here working away. It just so happens that the soil around my gnome garden is horrific. So in order to plant these hostas, we're going to have to amend the soil a little. We're going to do like a 50-50 mix, or maybe not even 50. But we're going to take out the rocks. We're going to add some garden soil that I have here purchased, and we're going to mix it with the regular native soil. And we're going to expect great growth. Hostas are, if you want to plant something that is hardy, you can't kill these guys. They're tough as nails. Their roots are tough as nails. I used to have hostas in the front of the house, and my dear ex-husband, God rest his soul, took them all out to do a walkway that he had his heart set on. And I was going to divide them, and these were big hostas. These had some history to them. Well, you couldn't cut those roots apart with a chainsaw, and also it was the wrong time of year. If you have hostas and you want to divide them, they're just coming out of the ground now. These are already, grown in a hothouse. Now's the time to do it. Split them up, break them apart. You can't hurt a hosta. I don't know why. These, God rest their souls, these are strong sons of guns. And so is Mondo digging my holes. You noticed I got away with digging the holes yesterday. It looks like I might make it today too. No, I dug a few. I planted a few, and I'll plant some more. We've got, I don't know how many we got here, probably around 20 plants going around this tree. Then we'll go around the fairy tree. This is a big oak tree, which means it's right now it's early spring. It's not leafed out, but when it is so shady. So hostas, which I normally have on the north side of the house, I'm trying them here, and I'm thinking, I had one in the circle with the gnomes and it did well, and I'm thinking this will be the perfect solution, because it's hard to grow anything under this tree because it's so shady. So, and there's nothing quite like hostas. There's so many varieties. If you could identify all the varieties of hostas, then you probably get the Guinness World Book of Records for being the biggest gardener nerd on earth, because there are zillions of varieties and hybrids and different color patterns and different size, minis, mediums, gigantic, enormous, monster ones. They will grow a tall spike here with little purple flowers, typically, which I just love, which is enchanting for the fairies might fly over from the fairy garden and mess with the gnomes. Who knows? It could happen. It could happen. When I was a little girl, I have a Welsh Nana, or had a Welsh Nana, God rest her soul. She passed away at 107. I tell everybody that. That's my goal. To live up to Nana's lifestyle, and I think one of her secrets was gardening. And she used to have, she had a little cottage and had a cottage garden with little cottage roses and lily of the valley. And on this hillside, she had these tiniest, never saw such little tiny flowers. They were really more like ground cover, but I was little and I thought they were flowers, and I would lay on my belly and I get hypnotized staring at those little flowers. It was so magical and mesmerizing, and I was always looking for the fairies, because she would tell me about pixies and fairies and all that stuff, and I was waiting to see some. One time when I was little, we planted lollipop sticks in the garden. After having, they give the lollipops, they used to give them away at the bank. And the next day, so quickly, I only watered them one day, there was these gigantic, oh my God, lollipops that had grown overnight. So those are magical memories that I, from my childhood. And I'd like to recreate a little magic in the children I come in contact in their lives. So speaking of magic, hostas, which are not only, we're going to dig out, by the way, dig your hole twice the size of the container. When you're digging, when you're digging planting anything, it should be twice the size. So you want to get a good new base. Get that soil broken up. And then we covered it with some pine bark mulch here. I'm not sure. I've got the big chunks. It's kind of wild looking. Maybe I'll get a different one. I've got some smaller chunks too. I think I might like that better. But and then I have surrounded it with big gigantic rocks. All these rocks have come from bit by bit my gardening. We dig up another monster rock, and then he becomes a marker around our gardens. Speaking of that, here, let me show you this. You know what this is? You see that? When you ever see a rock with lines through it like that, that's a wish rock. You get to make a wish on that. Let me make a wish right now. Oh, it's gonna come true. I just know it. So yeah, so here's another wish rock. Here, look at these. Those are wish rocks. And other magical things. It says that hostas are known for bringing good health and good luck. So, and I'm wondering if when, these things that are magical correspondences, if it doesn't come from things like by actually planting hostas, you become healthier. There is I was reading a study about gardening in the National Institute of Health, and it says that when you're gardening, not only you're getting the vitamin D and what have you, and maybe you're getting, by touching the dirt, those microbes, you're building your immune system. But they've traced, there's some studies where they've seen that it's changed your brain waves on EEGs. They've found out that it's very beneficial in reducing stress, reducing the effects of stress, blood pressure, cortisol levels, changing your brain waves. In Japan, they attribute it to longevity, working in the garden. There's some research surrounded using with people with depression, learning disabilities, and substance addiction and abuse. It's helpful in changing the brain waves and the brain patterns. And it, makes you just happy. And it makes everything simply beautiful. So hostas are also known representing a correspondence of devotion. And Mondo has become very devoted to gardening since he planted his first hosta. He's the one that said, "Mom, I need a bunch, and we're going to do this." And this is something Mondo's thinking, wants to be in his future, some gardening. There we go. The one thing, can I see that one? I want to take that one out. These I got at Lowe's actually, because Mondo needed a lot and he needed them now, and we happen to be there. So, and they can't beat the price. Interesting enough, somebody said to me, you can eat hostas. So I looked online and I found this greatest recipe for, it was roasted hostas with cheese. I'm like, oh God, I am so having that, right? Because I'm a cheese fanatic. But on the back here, it does say that these are not for human or animal consumption. So I guess these aren't going in cheese sauce. And you know what? My deer might want to check that out. Hey, because they like to eat hostas. One day I had all my hostas were level to the ground. So anyhow, I just want to show you these roots. These are nothing compared to what you'll see in a full-grown hosta. Full-grown hosta, those roots are they're like tree limbs. They're incredible. But we'll tickle this guy's bottom here. Well, we'll put the dirt over there, and we'll spread his little root system out. It looks like there's a couple here, but we'll pop them all in the same hole. And Mondo can do that, and he can backfill it and do whatever he's doing. We have a twilight plantain lily. Plantains are what? Yeah, that's good. Great.
Yeah, I mean,
No, that's good. Just make sure you plant your plant straight. You want it to go straight. Otherwise, if you plant it crooked, it's going to grow crooked. In the other species, what he's planting right now is a first frost lily. You'll probably never see them again because I'm saying every hosta under the sun's got a different name, and there's so many of them, and they're so varied colors from blues and with whites. The ones I had in the front had white on them. They were beautiful. They come back, but they just didn't look like they looked before they first came out for that project. But that's another story for another time. So we're planting the hostas, covering them up, gonna water the heck out of them, keep them well watered. We did them these size, 18, or we did 22 inches apart. On the back it said 18 to 24, or up to 28 inches actually for this one, and the other ones were 18 inches, so we kind of split the difference a little. You might have to, if you have one of those ginormous ones, you might have to go, they recommend up to 40. I saw one 80 inches that said spacing. I'm like, good Lord, I only need one. What's it going to go around the whole circle? But I don't know. That's a whole different species that I don't think I have here. But we are enjoying it. I hope you're able to get out in your garden. If you have some gardening adventure stories, or magical stories for that matter, if you got some gnome and fairy stories, I'm the one that wants to hear them. So tell me all about them, because we have, we'll talk about fairies in the garden in the future, but we do have had some fairy sightings. Don't eat these. If you can find the ones you can eat, let me know. I'd love to give it a taste and cheese. What you want, honey? Some dirt? There we go. Take some dirt in there. There we go. Some nice rich soil. Add that to that. And we'll make our way around. And that's this project. We got lots of projects going on. We're still cleaning up and still making compost bins, which we'll probably show you a cheap and easy way to do that in a future video. I hope you're enjoying the spring. It seems to be warming up a little bit. Still going to be cold tonight. You might want to cover your plants. If you're in the Northeast, you could be getting another frost. And then it looks like we might be getting out of the, getting out of the woods there, and we might get headed for some warm weather. I hope so. It is lovely. Just bundle up. That's what I do. Layers, layers, layers. And you have a wonderful day. Hey, don't forget, hit subscribe. Like it if you want. Hit the bell for what's that? Slam the bell for other notifications. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You take